Kausapin naman natin ngayon ang basketball analyst and blogger na si The Hoopnut, Enzo Flojo. Tungkol sa resulta ng triple header ngayong NBA opening night o opening day dito sa atin sa Pilipinas. The Hoopnut, maraming salamat. Welcome back to The Score.
Ito pala yung samahan ng NBA PH bloggers.
Oh, tama yan, tama. Tama ang sinasabi mo, Anton, pero mas tama rin na of course, panalo ang Spurs kanina sa Warriors. Pumutok ang social media. Lumabas ang, alam mo yan, all kinds of comments na nakita natin. But how did just really the Spurs beat the Warriors in your opinion, Enzo?
Well, I think the word of the day for that particular game, and I think for the Cavs New York game also, was teamwork, ball movement. Ball movement talaga feeling ko. Kasi itong Spurs, they just showed a lot of good classic Spurs basketball against the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors, I think, were still in a feeling out process. Of course, they added Kevin Durant, but they lost a lot of key pieces who were parang glue guys for them in their two big seasons na lumipas na. Itong San Antonio Spurs naman, they might have lost Tim Duncan, but their other veterans were still there. Kawhi Leonard had a career-high 35 points. So many things were clicking for San Antonio. And to do it on Golden State's home floor, that was a big bonus for them.
There was a lot of hype, obviously, surrounding itong paglipat ni KD sa Golden State. And coming here into this opening night matchup against the Spurs, siguro nagulat sila na biglang umarangkada ang Spurs. At gaya nga ng sinabi ni Migs, maraming lumabas na salita sa social media. Hindi lang salita, pictures. For example, KD in a Spurs jersey. There's going to be a lot of pressure on Kevin Durant. He is now labeled as a villain, and this is very surprising. How do you think the Warriors are going to deal with this new perception about them as they go through the NBA season?
Well, it's going to be a completely different kind of environment surrounding the Golden State Warriors. Every arena they go into, they will be, like what you said, Anton, villains talaga, no? Not just because they're such a very good team. I mean, last year, they somehow had that villain tag already because they were the defending champions. But this time around, they added, the last MVP prior to Steph Curry, si Kevin Durant, of course, and they've built this super team na a lot of people are tagging to be the runaway favorites to win the championship. That's a completely different kind of pressure they're facing. They're expected to not only win the title, but to win it in emphatic fashion. And they sacrificed so many other names just to get Kevin Durant with the expectation of winning that championship. The pressure is just too much. That's why I think Steve Kerr, he's been saying a lot of things in the media right now, trying to deflect attention away from Golden State because he realizes that the spotlight on them right now is even bigger than it was the past two seasons.
So ngayon, Enzo, mapunta naman tayo sa defending champs. It was a ring night for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They won in a very, very statement fashion, 117-88. And of course, syempre, with LeBron James with a triple-double, 19 points, 11 rebounds, 14 assists. You think this is a statement win na kaya nila mag-back-to-back?
I think so. I think that the Cleveland Cavaliers have been flying under the radar a little bit relative to the Golden State Warriors. Of course, over the past few weeks, everyone's been talking about how Golden State is going to make it to the finals again. With KD, they can beat LeBron and the Cavs. Some people are thinking maybe the Cavs, are they a lock to win the Eastern Conference? Maybe Toronto's creeping up, Boston's creeping up, maybe New York could be creeping up a little bit as well. The Cavs today just said, hello, we are the Eastern Conference. I mean, when LeBron has a triple-double, when Kyrie scores 29, when Kevin Love is classic Kevin Love, 23 points, nobody in the Eastern Conference can even touch Cleveland if they play this way.
Sinabi mo, are the Cavs a lock to win the Eastern Conference? I just want to remind you guys, I correctly predicted last year that the Cavs would win in 7.
Akalain mo yun! Akalain mo yun!
And I am declaring this early in the season,
Day one, huh?
Day one, that they will rule the East.
We have to lock this in.
Big-time beast of the East. And do you agree with that? Tingin mo ba they will come out on top again, at least on the East?
Definitely. I mean, I think that's clearly something we can lock in much more safely than, let's say, Golden State wins the West. Especially after day one, na-dismantle talaga ng Spurs ang Golden State. And if the Clippers, the other Western powerhouses we're watching, they're probably thinking, oh, okay, so they're not that super after all. But in the East, if you're Toronto, if you're Boston, if you're Detroit, Indiana, if you're these teams and you watch LeBron and company dismantle Melo and the Knicks, you're like, okay, they're
Yeah.
actually better than they are on paper.
Iba kasi usapan sa East eh, di
Oo,
ba?
eh.
Oo.
So I think the Cleveland talaga, it's a statement game. And they're basically yelling out to the whole conference like, you know, we got this conference.
Yes.
So you guys fight for the next 7 spots. We're comfortable here at the top. Parang
Okay,
ganun.
so mabalik naman ulit tayo sa Western Conference. I read something about Steve Kerr saying that he's declaring or he believes that a Damian Lillard can win the MVP. Right now, they won against Utah 113-104. Damian had 39, 9, and 6.
Yes, man.
Wow, career numbers also like
Yes.
Kawhi Leonard. But do you agree with Steve Kerr? Do you think Damian Lillard can be at the top of the list, at that elite group?
I think he can be, definitely. Is he the runaway favorite to be MVP? At this point, it's tempting to say yes after his 39-point performance.
Yeah.
I'd say not yet, but he's definitely at that elite level
Okay.
already. I think he's going to be in that conversation along with obviously Steph Curry. I think Kevin Durant will still be there. LeBron James, of course. Maybe Russell Westbrook is going to be in that conversation. Kawhi Leonard is going to be in that conversation as well. And definitely Dame Dollar. I think he's going to be at that top tier, top echelon of those NBA players by season's end. I think he's going to be the main reason why Portland could be a top 4, top 5 team in the Western Conference. And if he does this kind of performance, you know, on a nightly basis, I wouldn't be surprised if he finally makes an All-Star game. If he is maybe in consideration to be an All-NBA first team point guard. Yun.
There was a guy here last night who said that he would bet his
Was he a
life.
tall
I
guy?
think I
A
know
big
that
guy?
guy. I think
He calls himself Coach Hammer. Yeah, he said
Sabi niya
that he
Cavs in
would.
6 last year. Eh?
I think he said Cavs in 5. Okay, he said that he would bet his life on Damian Lillard.
Being MVP. Wow.
Yeah, so I agree na he has a good chance of making it to the All-Star team for the first time, to win MVP. But would you go that far?
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't bet my life. I mean, I have 2 kids and stuff, so I don't think I can bet my life on that. But, you know, I love Dame. I think he's a very, very underrated player. And I think he's a lock to be an All-NBA player, All-NBA team, first, second, third, any of those. I think he's going to be a lock for this season. I think he's going to be in the conversation to be MVP. I wouldn't be surprised if he's among the top 3 ballot getters at the end of the season. But ang hirap eh. I mean, you have Russell Westbrook who's playing with, you know, big chips on his shoulder.
Yes.
You have LeBron who's going to rule the East. You have Kawhi who's going to have a career season also. You have so many other top-level elite players na it's difficult to put Damian ahead of all of those things. It's easy to put him alongside them, but to put him ahead of them this early, wala pa ako sa ganung level of confidence.
Okay, last question for you, Enzo, since nasa guards usapan tayo. If Damian Lillard is for the West, sino naman ang tingin mong sa East?
Yon.
More or
Man.
less, you have John Wall,
Yeah.
more or less,
Kyrie.
Kyrie
Dami,
Irving.
yeah.
Who do you think? Who can emerge?
Derrick Rose, syempre.
Okay.
Hindi, joke lang. I love Derrick Rose's confidence. No? He believes New York is a super team, even if they lost by, you know, so much on opening night. I think Kyrie would be will make a big step forward in terms of production this season. I think winning the title last season will do wonders for his confidence and his self-belief. And I think LeBron, even if LeBron's going to be very productive this season, I think he knows that he has to sometimes take a step back and let Kyrie take the wheel, so to speak, and maybe even Kevin Love sometimes for Cleveland. So I think Kyrie becomes the top point guard in the East. He leapfrogs guys like Kyle Lowry, John Wall. Of course, if they're healthy, Isaiah Thomas might be in that conversation as well. Maybe Rajon Rondo if he gets his head straight and all those things. But Kyrie, I think he'll be the number 1 point guard, maybe even the number 1 overall guard.
Correct.
In that conference.
Right. Sarap. Fantasy player ko pa naman si Kyrie Irving.
Good call, Ton.
Well, exciting NBA season ahead, and you guys can join us. We'll be writing for NBA.com.ph.
Yes.
Enzo, thank you so much.
Maraming salamat.
Thanks,
The
Big.
Hoop Nut.
Hoop Nut.
For more sports updates, keep watching The Score. And don't forget to subscribe.